Well, I didn't prepare this so much. I'm one of the young art reporters at
Yes.
Kunstenfestivaldesarts.
Yes.
I'm a student in theater here
Okay.
in Belgium.
Okay.
So I had maybe more questions about your way of practicing. And the main question that I have is, I saw Guerilla
Last year,
yeah. And I was wondering, how do you feel about taking back to work with a spectacle performance you already performed 2 years
ago,
yeah.
Well, this is the work that we tour now with 3 pieces. 2 of them are a bit older, like this one, and the other one is from 2012.
Yeah.
But this is the work, but I really wanted to show this piece here in Brussels after Guerilla,
Okay.
because these 2 pieces came from the same creation process.
Okay.
So we were during 1.5 years doing a creation process, and we did this piece because we couldn't do Guerilla because we didn't have the money and the right space.
Yeah, it's really big.
So we did this.
Okay.
And Christophe, the director, saw this piece, and I explained him how was the process, and we had the idea of Guerilla, of these scenes with a lot of people, and he said that that he could do this, and so that's why we premiered Guerilla the year after.
Okay.
But they came from, actually there is a text that is in both pieces, because they are I say they are twins.
Things. Yeah.
The form changes very much, but the
but
topic,
they're close in the topic.
yes, the topic is very much the same. So for me it was very
it's
good,
complementary.
that this piece could be seen after Guerilla.
I noted a main difference between the 2 performances. I was thinking about Guerilla that we felt more the urgency of being together, because Guerilla had a kind of participative way, and it was so big you couldn't escape it. So you have to,
totally.
you had
It's
to,
a wave,
to go
like
through. Yeah, really. And this
the opposite.
This feels like you're really alone you're sitting on your chair, and you're looking at people who are alone themselves, and you see they play they feel like it's awkward. They play the the unsureness of being you in a group. And I was thinking Guerilla was more with the power of the group.
Yes, actually here is plenty of absence, this piece. Because all the scenes, if you think about it, they are crowded scenes, but there are only four. So it's really about the absence. There is no sound, there is barely no sound. You can really feel the loneliness, as you said. And that's why Guerilla, it's the opposite in the sense that you fulfill.
It's like the negative and the positive.
But because the idea of the project was to detect or to try to define or to question or to represent the idea of the individual towards and among the collective. So because we are one, but at the same time we are a sum of one. So this creates a very big contrast. So you can feel very alone being in a crowd, and at the same time you can feel the opposite, to be alone in a space and feel very good or very good or very full.
Yeah, it depends on the moment.
This idea, I think, is very good represented by both pieces.
I really like the fact that you take time to show that yes, we are together in a hall in front of a performance, but we can get annoyed, or you take the time to say yes, we can get bored, and it's not so serious. Let's just live it together or live it alone. And I think it's quite rare, but would you like to confront people with that possible loneliness? Because I think in this performance it was quite nicely said. I mean, you say, well, the text is quite tough. It's hard, but I think it's really honest and really true. I feel really close to this kind of word saying. But I think maybe I think in Guerilla it was more like violent, and I think people were more like touched. Yeah, you had to to assume this. And how do you see, in general, art talking to people? Would you like to really confront people with their, I don't know, their blindness about their condition? But you don't want to be teachers as well.
No, I think it's more about sharing
a
sensation.
Okay.
So, the thing is, between this piece and Guerrilla happened some kind of thing. So what happened was that in both there is this thing of being part of being a bit soldiers of some kind of war which is not
known.
Not known, and you don't
Invisible
understand.
war.
We are very like tired, stresses, anxious, working like for what is like. Okay, I feel a bit a slave of what, because by the other hand we are like the representation of freedom.
Yeah.
We do whatever we want, we eat whatever we want, we travel
Apparently.
whatever we want. So this contrast is like the rooted in the works in some kind of way. But between this piece we were in a moment that we really need quietness.
Okay, that's why.
So that's why it was so
more
present.
calm, yeah.
But Guerrilla also is in the time. Then we did this in June 2015. In November 2015 there was the Bataclan attempt, and then in March there was in Brussels. So it became like more urgent to really
to share and
to really be together. So that's why we put here there is no sound, because we invite you, but Guerrilla really covers you.
Impose,
it's a bit imposing, which is something that we normally don't do.
Okay.
But
I was thinking Guerrilla because I saw Guerrilla as your first performance, so I began to think it was your way of doing things.
No.
It's
Actually, Guerrilla is the
Okay.
first time that we are so invading the others. At the same time, not totally invading, because the text is all written.
Yeah.
That means that you can decide not to read as well.
Of course.
And the thing is that you are the narrator, because the thing with the projected text is that you read it with your own voice.
Yeah.
And this makes
creates
it's
more
a lot of
intimate,
and that's why we contrast the violence of the scene in some kind of way. You know, the frontal, or you have 30 people in some kind of way watching you. This is also very violent. And then the techno scene, the music is also very violent. So that's why we put the text like written
it's more
in order.
neutral.
It's like it's there if you want. It's like you're reading a book and you have a sound landscape that invites you to read it in a kind of way, or to receive some kind of energies. And this is completely the opposite. It barely gives any stimulus.
Yeah, exactly, as it is said in the text. And how did you get to the idea of projecting text and not playing dialogues on the stage?
We did that also, but normally the text, we want to create distance between the audience and the stage, because
you want to get affective, or
we don't want to get affective. We want to touch the imagination of audience, and as in the daily life we are always attacked by everything, like it's really approaching you in a very frontal way, everything. So it's like, okay, on stage we give the space to seduce the audience if they want to come, otherwise not to bother too much. Maybe in 10 years we will need to do the opposite, but now is like our way. So even if the text is said by actors, we always try to create a distance device, or giving the back, or with microphones, or off voice. So there's always a because I'm also we like to work in a choreographical way, and in the moment that an actor says a text in front, then you have to spend a lot of time searching the place from where this voice come, how. So, and I like very much this kind of work, but we didn't manage until now to find the right way,
to do that,
because the best way is your own voice for each of them. So a written text is really your own voice, so it's a personal experience. A narrator also is like a kind of figure that we are very open to in general. But a person, then you start to look, okay,
Yeah,
the
of course,
hair,
is she beautiful? Is
the,
she, or is he,
the voice, oh, he's very good.
I don't
These
like
things.
his voice.
So then you enter in a dynamic that I prefer
of
to
judgment
avoid.
and yeah, of course. I think it's quite funny because this way of doing things by projecting the text makes it more neutral and more individual. So you're in, as you said, in an individual experiment, but it kind of it manages to how do I say that? Although you're individual in your experiment, it manages to get more neutral and then more of a group.
Yes.
So it's quite interesting. It's a contradiction, really.
Yes. Actually, we feel that we would need to move a bit forward with the text to how to.
Maybe
but
to make it.
It's tricky. It's tricky.
Yeah.
Now I'm coming from the Martin Spamber piece, and they are talking very neutral. The dialogues are very good. Are kind of dramatic, like bourgeois drama couple things, but they are super. And I like it very much, but the decision was very good, I think. But it's like I could not take this decision.
Yeah.
I don't feel myself
Maybe later.
that I could do this, because it's not just that. I also like emotion in the words.
Because I think that
So it's like
it's
tricky.
The true, I think, winning in your performances is that it's neutral, but it moves people. I think. So you don't you like emotions, as you said, but you don't want to create affective or romantic things or
to manipulate without
But I think it's more powerful, and it makes me think of the we all talk about the end of the theater of text, but I think your kind of performance is like really text loving.
Totally.
Really.
And we are very much based in the theories of classical theater, that Shakespeare or these things that they didn't had scenographies. They were saying, okay, we are in Denmark, or we are in the middle of a storm, and we believe it. So we play very much with these things. Or Brecht, there is always this distance, and we are.
Yes, because I think you're very respectful of the public, because I can feel the fourth wall most of the time.
Yes.
But I think that the form is.
But
really
the text is not
interesting.
fourth wall.
Exactly.
The text is yours.
It's really and it's confronting, because when you really think about it, when you pay attention to what it is said, you realize it's true, and we're in the shit. It's really
totally.